I really like this country. Actually, I wanted to live here, but I think it's really hard.
In my opinion, it's very similar to Japan. It's a bit more different than China. China is more loud.
I am K-pop fan. So, yes, it's my dream to be in here for 10 years, I think. Will I date with Korean man? Maybe, why not?
Okay, that's good.
Why not?
I mean, sure, there's a bit of a culture shock, mostly
In general, I would say people is a huge cultural shock. The people here are in general very nice, and they are very helpful. And in general, I must say they are well behaved in public compared to where we come from.
Good day, everyone. I'm here in Seoul, South Korea, and today I'm asking foreigners, do you experience culture shock in Korea? Let's find out. Hey, how's it going?
doing great, doing great.
Fine, it's so hot.
Very hot, right?
Yeah.
Is it intense for you, this weather? Are you used to it?
I'm not used to it. It's not like this in Belgium.
So you're from Belgium. Where are you from?
Netherlands,
Netherlands.
next neighbors.
And how's the weather at the moment there?
At the moment, I think actually at the moment it's kind of okay, but I think 90% of the days in the Netherlands it's raining. So yeah, being here in the scorching sun, like with not that much rain, even though it's the rainy season, it's kind of tough.
Is it better to have sun with no rain or rain and like gray skies?
Rain. For the moment,
I
would
prefer sun. So you can visit the city when it's rainy. You can't visit, and I prefer to take great picture with the sun.
So I'm asking foreigners today, do you experience culture shock in Korea? So what's your experience been like so far?
I mean, there's definitely. I mean, I'm kind of new here, so I still need to adapt a bit. And I've only been in the city for like 3 days, and the rest of the time I've spent working with a family somewhere in the countryside. Even though they were not Korean, but I worked there, so I didn't really experience that much of a culture shock there. I guess because you're really with like foreign people already. But for like the last few days that I've been here. I mean, sure, there's a bit of a culture shock, mostly in the group settings, I guess. Like if you want to go out somewhere or like want to go eat somewhere, I have the feeling that it's really group centered. Like you need to be at least with 2 people if you want to sit down. Also, the food portions are always paid in 2, and always you need to be with 2. Like there's a portion for 2 people. So being alone can be a bit more intimidating, I guess.
Okay, that's
I guess that's mostly my culture shock that I've had up until now.
And what about you? Any culture shock so far?
Okay, in Belgium, if you need to go to the toilet, you don't have a lot of toilet in the city. And even if you find a restaurant, sometimes you need to pay for it. And here, it's so easy to find a toilet.
Right. That is a nice thing. I can relate because New York is like the same thing. You will like struggle to find a toilet and feel bad about going into places to ask because you're not sure if they're going to say yes, right?
Yeah. And okay, I'm so shocked about the air conditioner in the metro. It's so cold.
Strong.
Yeah, so strong.
That's good, right?
It's too much. It's too much. It's too much in the metro.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
You think the same?
Yeah, the change is too big to go from like the cold metro to like the really warm outside. It's better if they kind of regulate it to a more like medium, modest like temperature, I guess, where you walk in and you get cooled down, but when you walk out, you not all of a sudden get like overthrown by like the heat that's coming towards you. Like,
True. It's like sauna and ice bath, but in nature, right?
yeah, almost like that. Yeah.
So have you guys been to Asia before this?
Yeah, I've lived in Japan
You
last
lived in
year.
Japan?
Lived in Japan
Okay.
last year.
In the summer?
Yeah, I arrived actually 1 year and a week ago in Japan, and I've been there for almost like a complete year, and then I came to Korea, kind of for just staying here for a little bit, and then going back to Japan also, but the visa ended. But yeah, also during the summertime. But I guess the summertime in Japan when I was there was kind of better, mostly because I was living next to the sea. So every day was just like,
Breezy.
yeah, it was more cool. I was living up on a mountain, like in the forest, which is already a bit cooler. and then really close to the sea. So every time after work, me and my friends used to go to the beach, go surfing, be in the water like almost all day long, which is nicer than being in the city where like all the buildings keep like the heat and stuff inside.
Does it feel similar culturally and like architecturally? Does that stuff feel a bit similar?
I guess it maybe depends on where you go, because even in Japan, I would say every city is different from each other. And I guess here in Seoul, it's also still different from Japan. But to be fair, I guess there's more nature and more mountains around here. Yeah, I do strongly feel so. Like over here, like you have the
It's very green and
It
like
is pretty
very,
green.
very nature integrated, right? Yeah,
And
I feel that.
you have it also a bit in Japan, more than some other major cities in like the world. But I have the feeling that here is even more, like more big parks around. Even like I think there's a national park, maybe like 30 minutes around from here, which is pretty nice to have more nature around.
That's good. And have you been to Asia before?
Yes, I went to Vietnam and also in Korea last year.
Really?
Yeah, so it's my second time.
So you enjoyed it enough to come back, yeah?
Yeah, I really like this country. Actually, I wanted to live here, but I think it's really hard to speak the language. But I studied a bit Korean at the university here.
Yeah?
Yeah, for 1 month.
Wow. Can you say one little sentence for us in Korean?
Oh no, it was last
Too
year.
long ago? Oh, that's okay. Can you say like, hi, my name is, and say your name? Do you know?
Yeah. 안녕하세요. 이름이 프로랑스이에요.
There you go. My Korean audience will love that. That's good. So you love Seoul and you would consider living here. You think if the language wasn't a big barrier that you would be more likely to consider living here?
I think it can be good to find a job, but I met a Korean guy in Belgium and he said, oh, don't go to work in Korea. It's too hard, too many hours. So it's better to travel maybe.
I think that's the thing. Like for Koreans, it's actually hard here. It's like not, they don't think it's like an easy life. They don't think it's cheap. You know, they probably work too much. And I think a lot of foreigners come here, especially from Europe or from America, and they're like, oh, this is pretty chill. This is kind of relaxed, but like it's not the same for Koreans. And so it's interesting to see that and meet Koreans and see how hard they work. It's like their work ethic is strong. Have you noticed that?
I mean, in Korea, no, but if it's anything similar to Japan, then I definitely. I heard from some friends that I have in Japan that also lived in Korea that they say it's pretty similar. There's also a lot of overtime, and it's super hard work. So from the little thing I know, I think it's kind of rough.
And how about the food? That's a big part of culture. Do you enjoy the food here?
I guess I'm not. I mean, I'm not that much of.
Hey,
a
be
food
honest. That's
critic.
okay.
I'm not much of a food critic, so I think it's awesome. The food is nice, but from when I was living on the farm, the woman that I was living with, she was teaching me all these like different Korean recipes and like the different type of like ways to eat Korean. And I was a bit confused about it because you need to mix everything and like you eat with your hands a lot and like you need to do it like in a specific way almost, or like you can mix it. And it was a bit confusing. So there were, in my head, it felt like I had so many rules that I needed to live by while eating that I was a bit overwhelmed by it. Where normally I just have something on my plate and I eat like however I want.
I'm not aware of any of that. I've just been eating my own style. So maybe I'm being rude over here and I don't even notice. What about you? Have you enjoyed the food here?
Yes, I really like the food, but I think not enough vegetables.
Right.
Yeah, a lot of meat and and a lot of rice, but not vegetables. So maybe all the year here can be not good for my health.
Vegetarian would struggle here, right?
Yeah, I think so.
I was living on the farm as a vegan. Actually,
Really?
yeah.
Whoa.
So it was a complete opposite.
That's tough.
But I mean, they bought everything for me. So, but I'm not a vegan. But they gave me only vegan food.
Just eating bowls of kimchi?
Yeah, something like that. I mean, I don't even know what they gave me, like everything, but only vegan stuff, which is actually kind of new to me. But it was actually pretty nice, though.
Sounds like both of you don't have too much culture shock. At least you seem comfortable here, I could say, right? Both of you seem pretty comfortable.
Kinda, yeah.
Yeah, right?
Yeah, it's a good life, I think.
That's good. Cool.
I guess maybe it's also if you would have asked her like a year ago or me like a year ago, if I would have went here for the first time, then the culture shock would have been a bit different or like stronger, yeah.
So when you first went to Japan, you had culture shock?
Actually, not really, because I was preparing so much for Japan that I almost, in my head, I had the feeling that I almost knew everything. And I guess in a way, not that much culture shock as if you go in blindly. So yeah.
That's fair. And how about you last year, first time coming to Korea? Was it more of a shock?
Maybe the application, because you need to download Nevermap and Kakao Talk and Kakao all the things.
You know, actually, what I heard is because I spoke about this in my vlog sometimes, and people said like Google Maps didn't want to hide the military stuff going on in the country on their maps. And like the Korean government was requesting that they hide certain secret military stuff, and Google would decline. And so they intentionally make Google Maps not work properly here. And that's my understanding of it from my audience. Something like that, right?
I heard something like that too. I haven't really looked up to it.
If we're wrong, folks, correct us, because we got the Korean audience here. They can help us. There we go. They're like silly white people. Come on, guys. Come on, foreigners. Well, I really appreciate the interview, and I hope you enjoy the rest of the time in Korea. You said 2 or 3 months, right, both of you?
Yeah.
Oh, that's
Yeah,
cool.
3 months.
Well, enjoy, yeah?
2
Thank
months.
you so much.
Thank you for your
Thank you so
it.
much.
Thank
Yeah.
you. Thank you. Hi, how are you?
I'm okay. I'm fine, I think. Yes.
Okay. And where are you from?
I'm from Russia.
From Russia.
Yes.
It's your first time in Korea?
Yes, it's my first time.
Okay. Well, I'm asking foreigners today, do you experience culture shock in Korea? So what's your experience like so far?
About culture shock, it's a difficult question because, of course, people there in my country different, but I think not so much.
Really?
Koreans are really pleasant, as I understand. There can help, can try help if you need this. So it's really good. It's a good person, I think.
Friendly? So far,
Yes,
friendly?
Yes, friendly. Yes.
And what do you think about the food?
Oh, I don't eat food, Korean food.
No.
No,
What are you eating here so far?
just water.
Just water.
It's hot today, so I don't want it.
Will you try Korean food here?
I want to try, yes, but maybe later. Yeah.
Okay. Are you vegetarian? Are you
No, I'm not vegetarian. I eat all what I want.
That's good. And why did you choose Korea? What made you come here?
I am K-pop fan. So, yes, it's my dream to be in here for 10 years, I think.
Wow.
Yes, and tomorrow it's my birthday.
Oh,
So-
happy birthday.
So, travel to Korea is my present for myself.
That's cool. Are you solo travel?
Solo, yes, I'm
Okay.
alone here.
Is it your first time in Asia?
I visit Israel, but it was a long time ago.
So how long have you liked K-pop? Your whole life?
Not my whole life. I first heard K-pop music when I was 15, I think. It was almost 10 years.
Wow.
I'm 23, 24 now. 24, it's tomorrow.
And do you sing?
No, no, I don't. I don't know Korean, so it's difficult.
That's true. That's fair. Cool. So you will stay here 1 week, you said, and then you go back to Russia?
Yes, I came back to Russia.
Actually, I met many Russians here in Korea. I noticed like many foreigners here, they are Russian. Do you know why?
Maybe because in Russian K-pop is really popular.
Really?
Yes,
I
it's
didn't
really
know.
popular. So a lot of young girls like this music. So I think they want to visit Korea too, because Asia culture is really interesting. I think for European, for Slavic people.
For me too. For American, also like
yes.
very different. So different, right?
Yeah, yes, it's really different but interesting.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah. Last question, and be honest. Do you come here to meet Korean men?
will I date with Korean man?
Yeah.
Um,
Some people say that many like foreigner female who likes K-pop, they want to come meet Korean boys. So I want to know.
I dare not for that, but maybe why not?
Okay, that's good.
Why not?
Well, I hope you enjoy your trip here, and thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you.
Real quick, I want to talk about my own culture shock experience as an American coming over here to South Korea. So I've been here over 2 months now, but when I first arrived, it was definitely a culture shock. You know, my first country in East Asia. You know, I spent a lot of time in Southeast Asia, but it's just so different. And it's just so different from America as well. The architecture is different. The way people behave is different. You know, it's a more polite culture. It's a more, I'd say, quiet culture and respectful culture in public in general, especially more than back in America. You know, it's much cleaner here, and everything just caught me a little bit by surprise. You know, I didn't really have expectations. I didn't know what to expect coming here. You know, I will say that I was pleasantly surprised how the English is much stronger than I thought, and it's much easier for me to get around, and yeah, it's just easier for me to integrate and kind of live my life here. Much easier than I thought. Otherwise, you know, it's not such a culture shock that it was like difficult or felt bad. You know, it's just culture shock in a way that it was very different, and everything felt different. You know, maybe getting around using like maps and yeah, Google Maps, how I'm used to getting around, it's not so perfect. You know, but they are Korean apps, right? Naver and Kakao Maps. You know, maybe the train was a little difficult and the bus at first. It's a little bit like everything is foreign to me, you know, the language is completely foreign to me. And so when you're trying to get somewhere, yeah, that's a little bit difficult. And so maybe there can be moments of frustration. But I think overall, in the grand scheme of things, you know, easier than I thought. And you know, pleasantly surprised. But there was a culture shock. You know, those first days, that first week, I would say, yeah, it was a little shocking. And if I didn't stay here longer, you know, I think I would have left with the thought that like, oh yeah, that place is a little bit difficult, and you know, yeah, not so simple. Like maybe going to Thailand, or maybe like I spent time in Kuala Lumpur. You know, very easy to just get around. Everyone speaks English. The city is quite easy to navigate. But here, I think after just 2 weeks, especially after 3 weeks, it was like, felt just like normal. And so now after more than 2 months here, it's like I can say I feel completely comfortable. And you know, anybody who's thinking about coming here and is like maybe a little bit concerned there's going to be too big of a language barrier, or concerned it's going to be very difficult here, you know, I wouldn't even have that in your mind. I'd put that out of your mind and just visit, and you're going to be very, very happy you did. It's a great city, and almost every foreigner I talk to is very pleased spending time here. So yeah, nothing but good things to say about Korea. Hey, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good, thank you.
Very well. How are you?
Good, very good. Where are you both from?
I'm from Italy.
Italy.
I'm Polish, from Poland.
Okay. Is it first time in Korea?
Yes.
Yeah.
My first time in Korea and first time in Asia, actually. In the far Asia, yeah.
And have you experienced culture shock here so far?
I think if you've been to Asia before, as we were saying, it's pretty similar to Japan or China. But yeah, there is some like small things with the food, or yeah, how people behave. Like they're very nice, but they feel distant and they're very quiet compared to Europe, for example.
Okay. Is it different than Japan and China in terms of the people, or you think kind of similar?
I will say in my opinion, it's very similar to Japan. It's a bit more different than China. China is more loud. I would say Japan is very similar in my opinion.
Sure. And what about you?
In general, I would say people is a huge cultural shock. The people here are in general very nice, and they are very helpful. And in general, I must say they are well behaved in public compared to where we come from.
Really? So it's not so well behaved back home?
It is well behaved, but it could be better. It could be better, yeah.
I mean, I feel the same about America, so that's okay. That's okay. And the food for you? Do you like the food here?
The food is amazing.
Yeah?
The food is amazing. I just tried today, like the basic stuff today. It's amazing. We went for the barbecue stuff. Yeah, it was lovely.
It was very nice. It was very nice. A bit spicy. Like I would say, this is our maximum level of spiciness.
It's a
but-
European spicy. Was a
European
good.
spicy.
Do you have? I mean, I guess there is Korean food back home, but have you had much Korean food back home?
I think like the only thing that we really have is kimchi that we can try. Like everything else. I
Maybe
wouldn't.
barbecue or not really?
You can.
There are some restaurants,
Yeah.
but it's not as popular as other Asian cuisines, I would say.
Is there quite an Asian population there or not really?
In Italy, yes, mostly I would say Chinese or Filipinos. There is a lot. Korean, I'm not sure to be honest.
And Poland?
Yeah, in the city where I live, we have actually a huge Korean community in the south of the city. Yeah, so you will find many places. That will be edited.
Oh, saved it, saved it. It's windy, folks. Okay, we're gonna finish it like this. So you have Korean food,
We
right?
have a Korean community in my city. Yeah.
Okay, all right, cool. And so how long will you stay? How long is the whole trip?
In my case, it's only 5 days.
5
I have to
days.
come back.
Okay.
But
I'm staying for about 2 weeks.
2 weeks?
Yeah, but I'm heading to Busan and Jeju.
Okay, nice. Cool. Nice. Well, I hope you both enjoy your trip and I appreciate you doing the interview.
absolutely my pleasure, and you too enjoy.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thanks for watching, folks. If you're new, make sure you subscribe to the channel and drop a thumbs up on the video. I'd really appreciate it. And let me know in the comments, what types of interviews do you want to see next? I'll see you in the next video. Next, watch my interview with foreigners here in Seoul, where I asked them for their first impressions of Korea. You can watch that right here.